Hello everyone, sorry for 3 minutes, being late for 3 minutes. Some technical problems with the link in the Facebook. I hope now everything is okay. Okay, so we're on an article, how surprising, which is called Peace in the World, and in this article we're on page 94, so if you don't have the book Kabbalah for the beginners, just Google Peace in the World, Control F, more, there is not a person. That's where we stopped. So we talked about how the four attributes that we see in humanity in each one of us actually contradict one another. And for example, if the quality of truth is that what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, meaning that I'm entitled of being of enjoying what I've earned or worked for, and I cannot take somebody else's salary or fruits of his or her own work, and on one hand, and on the other hand, I shouldn't give from my own, because then those people would be spoiled, and they'll get used to live on my account, and it's unhealthy for society, and I also must take care of myself, so I won't be a burden on society. So, for example, that's the quality of truth. It doesn't go with the quality of mercy, which actually means that I should go not according to the judgment or the strict laws, but I should go towards the others more than the strict laws, and try to help them. So and also we saw that if there is truth, only truth, then there is no lie, because nobody's lying. Or you can say if there is mercy and everybody's giving everything they have for the others, then there is no truth, and then also there is no lie, and then you cannot talk about justice, etc., etc. Okay, so this gets a bit philosophical, but let's see if we can get some practical things out of it. Doesn't work, the drawing. Okay. So feel free to ask questions if you have. As I've said, we're on page 94, starts with moreover. Moreover, there is not a person without relatives and heirs that in fact should come before others, because so nature dictates that he who gives his property to others lies to his relatives and natural heirs by not leaving them anything, meaning that naturally I should take care of my close circle first, then a farther circle, etc., etc., until the whole humanity. So if I'm preferring something farther away over my family or people in my city or people in my nation, then I'm messing up with nature's laws. And peace also contradicts justice, because to make peace in the public there must be conditions that by content promise the nimble and the smart, which invest their energy and wisdom, to become rich, and those who are negligent and naive to be poor. Hence he who is more energetic takes his own share, and the share of his how do you pronounce that? Nice. I just did, no? Well, a moment ago I succeeded, and now I cannot. It's part of nature's wonders. Negligent. Okay, negligent. So back to the article. Okay, hence he who is more energetic takes his own share and the share of his negligent friend, and enjoys such a good life that there is not enough left for the negligent and naive to merely provide for the necessary livelihood. Hence they remain completely bare and destituted in many ways. Okay, so peace also contradicts justice. But why? Because usually in peace you need to do some kind of compromise between the more successful, energetic, and smart, and the less, and the naive, and the negligent, and so you have inequality, and inequality is like in contradiction to justice. That's what he's saying here. It is certainly unjust to punish the negligent and the naive so harshly for no evil, for what is their sin, and what is the crime of those wretched people, if Providence did not grant them agility and acumen, wow, that's nice words, that they should be punished with torments harsher than death. Yeah, so it's not fair. Like, what can they do that they were born like stupid, or they were born naive or lazy? Like, what's the big sin about that? And because of that, they are not allowed to live a normal life, or just to get homeless, or be poor or sick and don't even have money for medicine. Therefore, there is no justice whatsoever in the conditions of peace. Peace contradicts justice, and that justice contradicts peace. Because if we order the division of property justly, meaning give the negligent and the naive substantial portion of the part that the nimble and the energetic have, then those powerful and initiating people would certainly not rest until they overthrow the government that enslaves the great ones, the energetic ones, and exploits them in favor of the weak. Yes, so we have examples for that. That you have very small societies that could act very social kind of way, and because they feel like one big family or something. But when the ego grows, and when the ego grows, or their numbers grows, or suddenly they have foreign immigrants that suddenly are not part of the family, then they start to feel that, hey, why am I paying 60-70% taxes to take care of these people that I don't care about? Tough. Like, it's their problem that they are so stupid, or they prefer to drink beer all day, or go and watch football instead of investing their time in getting better, reading, learning, trying, failing, overcoming the failure. Like, why am I in fault of that? Why should we be equal, you know? And then you start to have this successful people, and you start to have this pyramid in which nobody is equal, and then you have injustice again. So, one thing to say, you see how Baal HaSulam sets it up very nicely, that if you really emphasize with what he says or explains, and you understand truly the laws of nature without trying to be bribed by what you are, or if you're like a weak person, or if you are a strong rich person, if you try to overcome this subjective point of view, you can really see how everybody is right. Everybody on their point of view is correct. Like, everybody sees the truth in his own eyes. Therefore, there is no hope for the peace of the collective. Thus, justice contradicts peace. So we are living in this how do you say, like when something is wired in, like built in, like in, no, but there's a word, like implanted, or oh, that's nice when you forget English. How do you say built in? Like, let me get Google Translate. Google Translate to my aid. If I would be a superhero, it would probably be a translation something, capability. Mutba, coined, innate. Innate, that's how you say that, innate. 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 Other word, build inside.
Build inside.
Like you have these chips that say Intel inside. So it doesn't matter really. It's just my pride that I need to know that I don't allow myself to sound as a first grade English student, but like a 6-year-old. But having said that, I think the point is clear, that we have this contradiction built into our society, into our nature, and so we are doomed to struggle and to be in constant war and in unrest. And this is a problem. So what can we do? Is there a solution for that? If not, why write an article called The Peace in the World? So the attribute of singularity in the egoism affects ruin and destruction. Okay? So Baal HaSulam wants to aim in the end that the only problem is that we use our singularity, that we cannot destroy and we shouldn't destroy, because each and every one is unique. we use it in an egoistic way. Thus you see how our attributes collide and fight one another, and not only between sects but within each person. The four attributes dominate him all at once or one at a time and fight within him until it is impossible for common sense to organize them and bring them to complete consent. We see how people are moving from one point of view to the other. The truth is that the root of this whole disorder within us is no more than the above-mentioned attribute of singularity, which exists within each of us, whether more or less. And although we have clarified that it comes from a sublime reason, that these attributes expand to us directly from the Creator, who is single in the world and the root of all creations, still out of the sensation of singularity, when it sits within our narrow egoism, and this is the main point, narrow egoism, it affects ruin and destruction until it became the source of all the ruins that were and will be in the world. Meaning that this singularity, which is the highest attribute or the highest quality we have inside of us, that actually elevates a person above reality, and it's like a leverage that if you use it correctly, you attain adhesion with the Creator, with the oneness in reality, above all the conflicts and the crime and flaws. This quality, when it sits inside the narrow egoism, is actually the source and root of all the suffering and ruins and wars in the world. And indeed, there is not a single person in the world who is free from it, and all the differences are only in the way it is used, for the desires of the heart, for ruling or for honor, and this is what separates people from one another. But the equal side in all the people of the world is that each of us stands ready to abuse and exploit all the people for his own private benefit, with every means possible, without taking into any consideration that he is going to build himself on the ruin of his friends. And it is inconsequential what allowance each of us gives himself according to his chosen direction, since the desire is the root of the mind and not the mind the root of the desire. Meaning that once I have this desire, that each one of us is operating by this operating system, that he sees himself as unique and the center of everything and the root of everything and the goal of everything. And if it sits in a narrow egoism, then I must go and exploit all of reality, because that's how I operate. I want to maximize my self-benefit in minimum energy or effort. And then I find justification for that. And then you see how people have all these ideologies. Some are more cruel, saying, yeah, I want to kill everybody, no problem, let's just kill them. Some more, or yeah, I want to be the most successful, rich. And this is a very primitive kind of justification. And some are more sophisticated. They say, well, hey, let's build socialism. Let's make everybody convert to our religion, which is the truth. But in the end, they all, everyone's motive is this how do I say that? Exploration, I hope you say that. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Exploration of all of reality to one's own benefit. So that's why we shouldn't get too excited about all kind of people saying all kind of stuff. As we've seen in this article, those who promote the truth are the worst, or promote the peace are even worse. So, because they do it out of the ego. In truth, the greater and more outstanding the person, precisely so is his attribute of singularity greater and outstanding. Okay? Using the nature of singularity as a subject of evolution in the collective and in the individual. Now we shall penetrate. This was a bit pessimistic, so let's see if we can also find an optimistic kind of optimistic point in all of this. So using the nature of singularity as a subject of evolution in the collective and in the individual. Now we shall penetrate into the understanding of the direct conditions that will finally be accepted by humanity at the time of appearance of world peace. Okay, so now he's doing a leap, he's doing a jump. He's saying, you know what, doesn't matter if by pain or by education or consciousness a conscious process, we will come to a state of world peace. But in the end, just like he writes in other places, even if we'll have to go through Third World War, Fourth World War, an atomic world war, doesn't really matter. In the end, we must find world peace, because we are wired to attain something, to attain balance. So let's look on the conditions that will finally be accepted by humanity at the time of the appearance of world peace, and learn how its conditions are good to bring a life of happiness to the individual and to the collective, and the willingness in humanity to want to finally burden themselves with those special conditions. Yeah, why should they take it upon themselves? Let us return to the matter of singularity in the heart of every person, which stands to swallow the whole wide world for his own pleasure. Its root extends directly from the unique one to the people which are his branches. Here there is a question that demands an answer. How can it be that such a corrupted form will appear in us so as to become the father of all harm and ruin in the world, and how from the source of every construction extends the source of every destruction? We cannot leave such a question unanswered. Okay, so this is what we also touched before. Indeed, there are two sides to the coin of the above-mentioned singularity. If we examine it from its upper side, from the side of its equivalence with the unique one, meaning the Creator, it works only in the form of bestow upon others, for the Creator is all bestowed and has nothing of the form of reception, because he lacks nothing and needs to receive nothing from the creatures he has created. Therefore, the singularity that extends to us from him must also act only in forms of bestowal to others, and to receive nothing for ourselves. On the other side of the coin, meaning how it actually works in us, we find that it operates in the complete opposite direction, because it operates only in the forms of reception for oneself, such as the desire to be the only great and rich man in the whole world. Thus the above two sides are as far apart from one another as the east from the west. Okay, so this is very important. Should I stop here? Yeah, I have a bit to go, so let's stop here because I want to take you back before we go to the solution. I want to take you back to the drawing we did in previous lessons, but for some reason it doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't broadcast. I don't know why I don't get a... oh, maybe now? Oh, nice. Psh. Cool. Okay, I'm getting better in this. Good. So I want to take you back to a drawing we did many times in this course and previous courses before. So actually remember that reality is one. There is no change in reality. So even when we talk about a creator which is one, it's the same as saying that the creature is one, because in the end the creature attains the creator, okay? So this oneness, because we have this law of self-similarity, so just like there is oneness in the creator, meaning in all of the reality, there is oneness in each and every cell, meaning in each and every one of us. No, I'll do it like... So each and every one of us has this point of uniqueness, okay? Because it's like one cell of the general whole. But as long as we have the egoism, meaning we have some kind of barrier between us and the rest of reality, we already have two or more. And so we see a shattered reality. In each we see a lot of points, each one of them thinking that it's one, because it has the information of one, but it has this ego that also, this narrow egoism that cuts it from the oneness. So it has a very corrupted form of oneness, in which it wants to exploit everything, because it feels that everything is her. It feels that she deserves to receive everything, because in its source it is everything. but now it's cut off. And that's why we have all these contradictions, and that's why we have all the problems. And the only solution, and it's not a simple solution, it's not an easy solution, even to understand, but the only solution is to change this oneness from observing to bestowing. And then when you try to bestow and rise above your ego, you like erase your ego, and you find that there is no boundary between you and the whole reality. You find that it's all one organism, one soul. And what you imagined as an ego was just an illusion that allowed you to consciously rise above this gap, above this shattering, in order to attain this oneness by your own efforts. And by that you're making it yours. Otherwise you would just been born into this oneness, you wouldn't feel anything. Just like plants or animals or angels that just operate as part of this oneness, or cells in our body. They don't come from the separation to that. Okay, so that's the solution, but it's not so simple to, like, it's easy to understand, I guess, but in practice it's a bit harder. That gives us the solution to our question: how is it possible that within the same singularity, which stems and comes to us from He who is unique in the world, who is the source of every construction, serves in us as the source of every destruction? This has come to us because we use that precious tool in the opposite direction, which is self-reception. And I'm not saying that the singularity in us will never act in us in a form of bestow, because you cannot deny that amongst us are people whose singularity operates in them in the form of bestow upon others too, such as those who spend all their money for the common good, and those who dedicate all their efforts to the common good, etc. Meaning that even we have examples in our world of people that their egoism is operating like it doesn't exist. But those two sides of the coin that I have described speak only of the 2 points of the development of creation, which brings everything to completion, starting in absence and gradually climbing the degrees of development from one degree to the next higher up, and from there to the higher still, until it comes to the summit, which is the preordinated measure of perfection, and there it will remain forever. Okay, this is everything. This is an important rule in creation, talking how you come from absence to existence. I don't want to do it shortly, I want to really linger on that. And so I guess we'll continue this next time from this point. Okay, let's see if we have questions in the few moments or minutes that we have left. Here we have no questions. Hello from Texas, hello, hello. Who hit the thumbs down? I don't know what's that thumbs down. Exploitation, thank you, exploitation. Well, Blake is helping me to pronounce that nice. No questions. How to work with the will to receive in this world when not in my 10? Okay, so it's a good question, Chris. You should just work as it's common in your conditions, in your culture, just as a normal person. Not too naive, not too cruel, just like a normal person, to get along, to get to operate according to what is necessary for you. In different times and different cultures, Kabbalists had to act differently externally, but it has nothing to do with internal work. Internal work is one thing, and operating on the outside is a completely separated thing. Okay, I guess that's it, no more questions. Something went wrong with Facebook. I tried to fix this link that I told you about in the beginning. That's why I was 3 minutes late, and still problematic. whatever, we'll try to fix it later on. Okay, so thank you very much. I guess there is one more lesson or maybe two for this series, and then we'll go on a summer vacation. Yes, that's right. And we'll probably be back around September or something. But you're always free and welcome to join the KBU in the link in the free Kabbalah course that you have, and then you won't have any summer vacation. You just keep on going. Okay, so see you later. Bye for now. Have fun. Have a great night, great day. Depends where you are in the world. Bye-bye.